afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast with me, your host and Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Your only authorized and, reliable source of comedy news to entertainment off here till 1-1 on Arnhem Checkpoint, a personal favourite of mine, due to its more open spaces and thus more emphasis on good manoeuvring. We got in the South GAT fighting here for the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin taking on the role here of the First Guards Tank Corps with airborne troop tactics, armoured assault and surge shock army with triple infantry, or double infantry actually, shock triple infantry versus in the north it is Frost, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. We're rolling out here with the, let's just go with the 24th Panzer Division here with assault support, pack, Panzerfaust and Panzergrenade bulletins. And seeing an instant choice listing assault support, it's not a doctrine that sort of sees a lot of usage, though who knows, maybe after the September patch from the Tiger tank gets a bit more interesting. There might be something there, but overall interesting doctrine due to the assault of the artillery field officer. You got the cargo truck, you got strafing runs, fragmentation bombs. Of course, very much got the Tiger tank. Pioneer 74 taking westwards there. We got a big push into the center here from GAT, double conscript with the third squad on the way there. Conscript for the Grenadiers. Shots being fired there. Seizing the eastern point, bit of skirmishing there. Third conscript squad almost done there for GAT and the Red Army. Machine gun there on watch by the cut-off point. Second lady squad almost done there for Frost. As GAT's conscript looming up, he might try and sort of flank around somehow. Though, of course, that quasi has a good idea where the MG42 is. If it doesn't, so flank could very well just be running straight into the machine guns, which is obviously not what GAT is hoping to do. But he should soon, I imagine, figure out where it is, either by accident or by, actual purpose. And there you go. Accidentally discovered the MG42 as it also discovers the conscripts, and very much discovers that its bullets are really good against the conscripts, so that's less of an actual discovery. Grab the point here in the east. Victory point there being seized by the engineers. GAT's central push here is quickly falling back. He's still taking up position in the church instead of just, completely backing off. He's like just going to try and top as many of Frost's forces there and make progress elsewhere. A bold maneuver there. If well handled, can certainly buy him some time and tie up, a lot more manpower than just one conscript squad there's worth. So let me see if GAT can actually manage it. Conscript on the west side here, engineers continue to grab the east. Third Grenadier squad there for Frost and the Fatherland. Back here, troops reinforcing. Back, popping down to the church. Again, he's just sort of weaving in back now, hoping to catch some of Frost's infantry out in the open, shoot them. Of course, that's not going to last much longer once the infantry is up there. He's going to need support weapons to flush it out, or Molotovs. We do not have early Molotovs here from GAT. Got closer to getting past the arc of fire there. Back caught out in the open there. Frost, in this case, I imagine basically just ordering the machine gun shoot down the country there. Good prioritization. Then we got more troops moving up, but again, without Molotovs or other meshes that we do getting on the way there. He's also going to have to launch an attack from both sides. He needs to be careful not to, get hosed down there by it. Conscript there might be setting up for deeper flank. He'll try and rush out in the church. They're all getting suppressed. Looks like he might be able to put it off here. Machine's going to take a bit of while there. Oh no, he gets caught in the front of the arc of fire. Potentially they're still shooting. Oh, it's out there with Frost pausing. There you go. Molotov burst through the window, lighting quite a bit there on fire, including the kitchen. Conscript there was the Grenadiers, got a mortar on the way here for Frost, providing artillery support there, so a triple Grenadier, one MG42 mortar build there for Frost. In many ways, sort of solid, stable, sort of slightly heavier T1, but still gives a nice suite of combined arms. You got infantry, you got machine guns, you got mortars, that is artillery. So I sort of like that setup. Again, it's a bit rare to see a mortar that early on, but again, Wehrmacht with a mortar tends to be, pretty solid. Conscript rider here, back here, keep medics up as well there for GAT. Nothing further there from him, no doctrines, no tech. I mean, versus what Frost is tossing at him. Supporting company with maxims and mortars would certainly be the logical solution. Plus, usually you're not going for special right to start, you're going to go for supporting company anyway, so at least that way you have field guns to deal with armor, because that's likely what Frost is going to be hitting with eventually. We got check up there for Frost and the 24th Panzer Division. Conscript against the Grenadiers. They're going to just caught a bit of a tricky spot here. It's the conscripts. Mosin Nagants versus Kanat TKs. Up close to Mosin Nagants rather win that one. Usually, though, of course, there can be exceptions to that. Frost, by the way, they have made a good push there for the fuel point. Managed to outplay GAT there a bit. Thumbs up to Frost. Thumbs up. Most of them remaining on a sort of slightly backwards position there. Troops taking up. Grenadiers in a really poor state. And there we go. Medic bunker up for Frost. Good response. Conscript laying up sandbags here with assault and sandbags down from Frost, showing that he too can lay down sandbags. Comes there as a Grenadiers, but scrounging around the car front between Frost and GAT. There we go, Molotov catching the Grenadiers in a bit of a incendiary place. Fun fact, the Germans also had Molotovs of their own, and they called them Brandflaschen or fire bottles, and they were actually industrially made. Which is not only something not considered because the Molotov just this thing is a improvised weapon, but the Wehrmacht actually mass produced them, sort of dark green bottles, and then usually some sort of chemical igniter, or they had like a storm lighter, I think, match. Sort of they could attach just to light it off. It's a little fun fact there. Troops are reinforcing. Officer available there for Frost as well. No light to make a nice company yet. And there we go. We do get the artillery field officers out there. Frost choosing to lead the Wehrmacht way. And certainly the Wehrmacht officers very much anticipated to lead from the front, which certainly provided assaults, but also provided high rates of casualties in a lot of the cases, which became a problem for the Wehrmacht as the war went on. But it did certainly allow the officers to sort of put more hands-on sort of pressure on the field, direct things more efficiently. Back here, troops healing and reinforcing. We got one light machine up there. Artillery field is running down here. MP40s are plenty, plus of course a mighty Luger, which is not the most common pistol bar used by the German army. This is the Walter PPK, I believe, or at least some sort of Walter pistol. Sandbags on the car point, got played by GAT, pushing back against Frost, and denying him fuel, returning the favour there to Frost and his fascist friends. We got there. Oh, nice use of inspiring aura. Bit of an look abilities as well, but a lot of Wehrmacht players are there to get around to using the officer. Good work there by Frost. Thumbs up. And this versus conscripts. Conscripts want to get back here. One squad routed. In the east side, we got mine going off, killing a few pioneers. Grenadiers backing up. There's Frost leads away there. Officer standing up right in the centre there. Slowly moving ahead. Conscripts going up here. Grenadiers sort of also on watch. Nothing further going on there for Frost. No, like to make a nice company. In theory, could try and rush ahead there, in which case, an upper blitz for a bit of extra resources would be an idea. Constantly up here, back here, the Spawn Company is indeed up for GAT, but there is still, I would say, no sign of a doctrine. But there's skirmishing here between conscripts and Grenadiers. The Grenadiers don't have the upper hand there due to the flank of the light machine gun, and of course, the mortar. Frost coming to a Panzer Grenadier squad, great versus the conscripts, but in theory, he is planning, to rush ahead. The Panzer Grenadiers can also in that way, act as I would say an emergency, reserve where you could just quickly add Panzerstrecks. So if suddenly he's hit by armor fast, so he's got his armor out, the Panzerstrecks can very well end up saving his bacon. So that's only one way also to go for Panzer Grenadiers there for Frost and the 24th Panzer Division. That's the first Guard tank core launches ahead here. Got the officer moving ahead, backed up by the Grenadiers. Comes there, likely going to get hosed down. Looks like someone got me. Yeah, there we go. Light machine away for the other squad. Comes officer up close here, hosing them down. MP40s and towards the mighty Luger. Comes there, routed under heavy fascist fire. Comes moving up there, going to try and push in, but again, they have now to rush across open cover again. Going to need to car, plus the officers moving in there. Veterans are 1, 6 kills. Slowly approaching veterans 2. Comes there, slowly bleeding out. Got a nice flank here though by GAT, but he's lacking a bit of sort of force superiority here. He's close to the T-70 though, and that's definitely going to require the Panzerstreck to deal with. But of course, here's where Frost has a slight issue. He doesn't have the munitions for that right away, so T-70 right now for GAT could prove to be very good. In part because, to slow it down, Frost is going to have to Panzerfaust, which of course means less munitions for the Panzerstrecks. You can end up sort of a slightly vicious circle if he's not careful. There you go, T-70 there for GAT, Frost still nothing. He could consider the Opal Blitz, again set it up maybe here, get more fuel munitions, that'll help him towards armor, but also, provide more munitions for abilities, Panzerstrecks, and what have you not. Panzer they're trying to deal with the conscripts, opening up with assault rifle fire. Conscripts basically just trying to survive as long as possible, lest they realise their rifles can't shoot as much as the assault rifles. Deciding that's, a bit naughty. Back here, troops reinforcing back in GAT space. Conscripts moving back there for some medical support. T-70 light tank almost down there for GAT. Ground the eastern victory point. And there you go, T-70 light tank out for GAT and the Red Army. No doctrine charges there still for GAT. Officer setting out, comes there being absolutely focused down here by all of Frost's infantry. Not long good there for GAT. T-70 charging ahead there. Fun fact about the actual T-70, it was more expensive than the T-34-76, and it was, I think, also slower if I recall correctly. But that was the thing, like the T-70 was mostly made, you know, so they had something to make as they were moving production towards the Ural Mountains, and so the T-70 sort of was like, you know, this stopgap solution more than anything. Like, it wasn't being made because it was actually like a good tank, it was made because it could be made, basically. Highlighting, so I would say, some of the interesting logic of warfare, and more importantly, logistics and industry. Obviously, and they're using diversion very nice. Again, a lot of players just tend to use their abilities. Nice use the he's so far used Expiring Ore, and he's now using diversion. Thumbs up there to Frost. And with this, he actually allows us to beat the counter there, since again the officer fights harder, alongside the rest of his men there in the escort team there. Almost got the conscript there. Some bit of blow there to him. And meanwhile, T-7 is on a rampage here against Frost. He is. The question again, how he intends to deal with this. He's got tag, I think, happening there. Yep. Needs to get the support cop and then rush out something, and at the same time he needs to consider that Panzerschreck, but he's still some time away. So right now GAT's got a bit of an overhand, but at the same time Frost is still putting on excellent pressure, and so they're just making things difficult here for GAT. And there you go, Panzer first off. So again, he's basically hoping that GAT just pulls it away and can't repair it right away. Meanwhile, GAT remains without a doctor there, grabbing the cuff on there. Excellent work by Frost. Troops healing falls in there, specifically the officer, 13 kill already. I mean, an officer can be well handled, actually quite a potent tool. But again, most people tend not to hand them well if they do use them. Most people don't really, which is a shame. Which is a definite shame. Modifying the consoles there, we got 1 kill so far, not the most impressive kill tally, but then again, he's becoming very far removed from most of the action all the time, so it's not too surprising for the Maltese, well, at this stage, you know, roughly done as much the war effort than the Italians had roughly by 1940. Not a lot. Mines down there. But wait, but does get spotted here by Frost trying to rush over the building. Of course, does not pop a Molotov just right away, expecting to rush into it. But we got the maximum in the church. Unloading a Stalinist sermon upon the heads of the German infantry there and the officer. Basil charging in there. You can go for the Panzer IV. You can go for an Ostwind right now, but I imagine here with the things as they are, Frost is going to feel quite comfortable with the Panzerkampfwagen 3. And there you go, Panzer IV on the way. GAT's going to need a field gun because otherwise GAT's going to get squashed. I said GAT, not cat, Basil. GAT. Just coming in, they're going for the officer. Got a smoking called in there. That's actually most of the abilities now in the officer actually been utilised there by Frost. Not quite fully set up there, but still, you know, thumbs up to Frost, really. He's really just putting good use into the officer, which most players never will again. I mean, most players will just never use half the abilities for something stuck on units. And he's usually tends to be like one of the ways to just measure, well, how good is the player, and usually he's just looking, well, how many of the abilities is actually using and how well is he using them? So, I mean, yeah, Frost is so far grading quite well on that scale. Grading quite well. Field gun away there for GAT. This is 3. Oh, the machine's about to go down. Bit of a shame there for Frost. Good kill, of course, for GAT. Removes a sizable thorn in his side. Of course, a slightly larger armoured self-propelled thorn is about to, you know, really hurt GAT. Panzer, of course, able to support as well. We got Panzers up there, just in case, I guess, there. Going for the cuff point. Graham Eastern victory point. Oh, actually moving past the strength for the fuel point. Not a bad idea there. I mean, some players like to just seize points in a linear fashion, but sometimes the best move is just to go straight past all that, hit the points that hurt the most, like fuel points, and try to force your opponent to draw into them. Panzer moving up there and just points and just a bit difficult just to get to. Holy smokes, that was a great hit. They almost taking out the entire conscript with a single hit. Coming this moving up as well. We could see a wipe there against GAT. No, not Cat. There you go, conscript wiped out. There you go, directed in the Panzer IV by the field gun, the SIS-3 divisional field gun. There's also a regimental field gun, but that was more actual artillery. Bit more like the German light Infanteriegeschütz. Pioneer's about to get right with the T-70, that's going to be helpful there for GAT. That'll slow down Frost's ability to take up, get out more stuff, and of course, very importantly, repairs tanks. But In this case, it felt like it was a bit too risky to pull in there. Might have been more tanks. Panzer going to use with Panzer exports, all that. So he just decided to pull back the T-70 rather than risk losing it. S-Mons out down there. Frost also, thumbs up for that. Another U-4 to replace the one lost there by Frost. GAT there, could try and put more pressure on the left side. A bit more sort of meat grindy action there. Go till called in by Frost as well. Getting used to the abilities there. In fact, the only ability none hasn't used the officer is the coordinator barrage. And right now, he doesn't have any units that work with it anyway. So, I mean, that's actually quite impressive. That's actually quite impressive. Panzer moving in there. Can't threaten them with an anti-tank grenade. Back here, nothing for going there for Frost and the German army. Back here, GAT. Hard to say that, but with dual field guns, it's docked and sort of basically just open. I'm definitely starting to think like this armored assault, like this is very much looking like the classic IS-2 stall strategy, or just heavy tank stall strategy. Though of course, in this case, it seems less like he wants to go for it directly, but more like he's being pressured by Frost sufficiently that he's probably feeling like that's his best option. Frost, I mean, could also go for a Tiger tank. Though again, an awful blitz there, but helpful is actually one's been taking up and actually getting out tanks, whereas GAT's got a T-70 out. A bit lighter and less resource intensive than a Panzer IV. Got the Fugels there hauling about as well. Units being hammered by the T-70. Officer falling back, good move by Frost. This is 3 was also known as the Germans as the Ratschboom because of the sound it made. Another fun fact about this is 3 that here it looks like he might lose the officer. That's only going to blow there to Frost and he's been quite well with it. Oh no, he gets away. And Panzer IV counter-attacking, catching T-70 in a pretty bad spot. 6 kills there, close to 1. I don't think that T-70's going to go back home there for Borscht. And there you go. Panzer IV knocks it out. Excellent work there by Frost. And Fatherland, more pioneers on the way. But back to the SIS-3s. They were also used by the German arms. They captured a bunch. In fact, they captured over a bunch of sold equipment. In many cases, would just directly repurpose it. But the SIS-3s were actually converted using German ammunition. And in some cases, actually used on some of their earlier tank disorders, like the Marder system. Particularly the Marder 2 used a lot of sort of converted SIS-3s. So a little fun fact there, But they used a lot of sold houses as well. In fact, I think some of their Volksartillerie sort of units, which is sort of a late war formation, trying to copy how the Socialist artillery actually used a lot of the captured sword howitzers. Gunners are being routed though, and white bit of blow there to Frost, mildly put. Small win there for GAT, and he's definitely closing in on IS-2, the Josef Stalin 2 tank. Panzer IV rushing westwards, Panzer machine being added, very good. Graham Eastern point of the Grenadiere. Engineer seizing points, trying to open the fuel flow there. Bit of a miss there, bit of a whiff. Consul's going to do some Molotov off. Enveloping poor Jurgen's corpse, like a funeral pyre, except there's not much of a pyre, and you get the GS Panzer. Well, they're almost taking out the continental retreat. Pioneers backing up as well, at least looking like they're trying to achieve something, but that range for the MP40s at most, they're just going to tickle his bum. These Consuls Grenadiers trying to push forward here. Frost pushes luck, in this case the retreats perhaps just in time to avoid getting wiped. Grenadiers make up with the officer there. Ace level by weight. 2 thumbs up. I mean, really an ace level officer again. Actually makes his inspiring aura ability even better. We need to see if then use it, but there you go. Up close with the conscripts. And there you go, get diversion. Again, very good ability over the officer. Again, makes them boost their combat prowess and makes them harder to kill. Just, basically acting as a diversion by, actually being good so the enemy has to, target them. That's the best kind of diversion. The diversion where opponent, can't ignore them. From eastwards, GAT he's a bit on the defensive. Obviously, he's going to swing back hard with the SIS-3 since Frost basically only has the Panzer on the Panzer X to stop the IS-2. And the Panzer Grenadiers and the Panzer Jaegers have certainly seen better days. So again, slightly hope that the Panzer IV, they got pushed out of the cover, at least they jumped out of the cover, and then got suppressed. So now it's just the Panzer IV, meaning the IS-2 is going to hit like a ton of bricks with Frost name written on them. On the west side, the Engineers versus Pioneers, Minesweeper versus MP40s. Usually the MP40s win. Grand Eastern fuel point here with the officer again. Frosty's just keeping up pressure here. Keeping GAT on the back foot. GAT definitely is going to have to put everything on that IS-2. probably supported with an R2 Sturm attack to just further disrupt Frost, because if you can sort of disrupt Frost's defense, maybe get some good kills in there. GAT saying there's a good chance, but if he fails, I mean, not going to look good there. Frost is also getting close to calling his own Tiger tank. Officer routed, west side there, Contact versus Pioneers. Good to see what there. If Frost is too slow to retreat, he isn't. And there we go, no blitz out. Tiger truck for Frost. German army in the early stages of the Whites used an awful lot of trucks, which actually gave them significant logistical issues. But there you go. IS-2 heavy tank out there for GAT and the 1st Guards Tank Corps. Equipped with a 122mm cannon. Panther for the field guns, almost taken out there, close to destruction. In fact, that's pretty bad for Frost. And considering again his Panzerjägers, I think, yeah, well, they're close to the front. Still, it means he doesn't have lots of really to slow down the IS-2 with, giving it more momentum, more abilities to punch through Frost off. And that's going to give, I think, GAT a quick chance to maybe sort of turn this around. Comes alongside up with a rifle grenade, but there you go, IS-2 charging forward, shoots. Doesn't quite land the hit, Pinman machine on the way there slowly. Panzerjäger's getting away, they're going to have to, get blasted as well. Grenadiers taking a hit. Jürgen goes down. Panzerjäger either fails or hits. IS-2 slowly turning around here. Shoots, misses, needs some infantry support there. Or support your tanks with infantry. There's a particular lesson the Soviets have learned the hard way during the war. A fun tact for the Germans to do against the Soviets, basically just let the tanks pass right past the infantry and then just murder their infantry and then focus on dealing with the tanks afterwards, once they're much more isolated. But there you go, Pinot machine gun up, we got maximum supporting engineers as well. Panzerjägers are down to, well, one man now. In fact, there's a good chance of getting wiped. He tries to pop the bomb grenade. And, almost gets the maximum, but the Panzerjägers do survive. They're close shave here, though, for Frost. Had the Panzerjägers gone down, he would have been in a really tough spot, at least until the Tiger tank arrives, and certainly the upper blitz will help with that, plus of course a bit of munitions. Arguably, Frost could have that one perhaps sooner. Grab these western munitions there, very good. Troops reinforcing. Of course, need to get some more momentum going. The faster he can sort of begin heading Frost, the better. He needs to push the front line back. He needs to gain ground. Of course, after this, he needs to bring up more staff to support the IS-2. H&6s could be an interim solution, but otherwise, moving up for T-34, 85s, and H-85s will be the best choice here for GAT and the Red Army. Smoking off somewhere. Looks like a setup for an attack. That quickly fell apart. We got the Panzer moving up there, very close to Veteran 2 actually. Big 2 pumps on 216 versus 4 and 12. Over here, healing enforcement for GAT and the Red Army. The IS-2 still being stalwartly being repaired there by the engineers. Also on the Grenadiers, field gun pushing back the Panzer 4 there with a threat of more armor piercing rounds. Another hit. Veterans 1 gained. Excellent for GAT. Less excellent for Frost. IS-2 almost good. Maximum, I think, could put more pressure on the right side. And there you go, west. We've got the officer popping diversion pretty quickly. But this range is going to be less effective. We need to get close. Of course, diversion helps him get close, but even then he's taking a lot down from that mortar already. Then again, with diversion, veteran 3 up close to the conscripts. The artillery force in 2 days. Actually, really, really good, and the conscripts are basically being bled out. It's worth noting you might want to take up at least both of them. And there you go, artillery called as well here by the officer. The heavy mortar barrage. At the same time, we got the tank out here for Frost as well, and the German army. Heavy mortar fire there, almost clearing out the entire field gun crew. Constantly rushing into the rescue of the surviving field gun crew members, but they proved to be a bit too late here. IS-2 is the Panther gunneers holding up the hospital. The engineers routed here as Frost counterattack commences through the centre. IS-2 shoots, does some light damage, nothing too critical there. We got 4 kills on it so far. Max remaining in east, needs the field guns up to back up there. Tiger going out there for Frost. Sent in by the Farmen and 3rd Schwerer Panzerabteilung, actually Farmen and 5th. Tiger tank moving in there. IS-2 falling back further. Panzer 4 moving in. Panzerjäger's backing up as well. GAT's gonna need those field guns ready. Panzer 4 gaining veteran 2 shots and added. There you go, IS-2 moving up. Panzer 4 taking further damage. Then he's got the one in position. Well, there you go. Moving up, we got air support coming to try and support GAT's position relatively further. Collapses a bit. Panzerjäger's moving in there. And there you go, air support rolling in. Panzer 4 taking a great hit here. Panzerjäger suppressed down to less than half health. More fire there, pinning them down, dealing them quite dreadfully wounded, but not quite out of the fight. But that could quickly change. Pioneers routed there. Small kill there on Ludwig. Constantly hitting when he needs support. Panzer is falling back. IS-2 shoots, gets a good hit. Target tank over top, and there goes Devison hitting into the midst of GAT's infantry assault there. IS-2 going for the target tank. Panther on the flank. Field guns are nowhere near to be seen. There for more support there. Panzer is pressed again and wiped out. Small win there for GAT versus Frost. Being able to take out the Panzer certainly gives his IS-2 a bit more freedom, though there's still the target to keep in mind. Of course, Frost could be backing things up with Stoogs or, I don't know, Panthers down the road. GAT should probably consider another engaged squad, maybe just using the self-repair ability to speed up repairs of the IS-2. The longer it's out of the fight, the worse. Field gun's good to go. Panzer dropped here. Targeting with 5 kills. Half 8 of it into 1. Self-repair being used as well. They're very good by GAT. No sign of additional armor or anything sort of useful. 200 points versus 390. Constant with field guns backing up. They're going for the center. Got a mechanisms with a light machine gun. He's going to need some support there. IS-2 those almost good to go. Also got Frost with his own air support ready to maybe return the favour there to GAT and the first Guards tank core conflict. GAT's a Panzer Shrek, but the target then grabbed most of them with a high explosive shell. But of course, GAT does not have a Panzer Shrek. Great mortar hit there by GAT, wipes out almost of Frost. I mean, GAT's conscripts almost got wiped out as well. That's 2 conscripts almost annihilated there by Frost units. He's moving up the left flank. 8 kills. Going in for the machine gun in the west. Frost left on a bit isolated, a bit dangerous there to be honest. That's going up there, my apologies if he's blocking the sound a bit as he's right in front of the microphone now. There we go. Panther moving in, machine gun almost taken out there. And now Basilisk climbed up on my shoulder. And is, I imagine, now going to sleep on it. While purring loudly. Got a fragmentation bomb in here. It looks like it's against the Maxim there. Yup. Collapses the entire building block there and wipes out the Maxim. The signal blow there to GAT. Good airstrike there called in by Frost. GAT's IS-2 is like, yeah, there you go. Target tank charging it. GAT still not bringing up any support for the IS-2 that's more mobile. Going for the Panther, gets it. Small win there. Target tank though. Veterans 1 need to get the IS-2 out there. Half 8 to 2. Field guns backing up here. And this could possibly turn against Frost there if he's not careful then. Still, GAT needs more support for the IS-2, something a bit mobile. Target tank there down to less than half health. Frost force being routed from the centre as GAT seems to unleashing a furious assault here. But he's lost these on start there to Frost. A Siller field officer being routed as well here. Target tank. Seen better days back here. Troops reinforcing. IS-2 need repairs. There goes self-repairs going. Guinea's moving in. But he needs to advance as well. He needs to grab territory. And he needs more vehicles in the field. As for Frost, we got Tier 4 on the way there, like a Panther to back it up. You could also just go for some Stoogs, but Panther's not a bad choice either. Comes with the Grenadiers, with Molotov off as well. They're forcing away there. In fact, now GAT seems to be in control of the map. He's got the larger force here than Frost. But he's not quite, I think, exploiting as well as he can. Potts doesn't realise how much damage he actually did to Frost there, so that's great for Frost. I mean, the less GAT is aware of Frost's current weakness, the better for Frost. But there goes T rolling ahead and again against Victory 2. That'd be great. Better, you know, range, better accuracy. Machine gun moving up to defend the Western Victory Point. Stuff there being wrecked. Frost can go for the Panther, but then again he might just go for Stooks now. We'll have to see. GAT still not taking up or bringing up anything to support the IS-2 again. H-6 with Great versus Armour. T-7 with Great versus Infantry. Half day just be handy. But so far again there's just a bit of a void there. Machine gun there caught by the Victory Point. 140 versus 365. IS-2 swings in there. Good hit there. Kills one of the gunners, but not quite enough. Closing Victory 2 there. Down to 2 men. Targeting, crashing the foliage, and there you go. Machine gun there almost wiped out. Tank guards 2 as a target tank. Almost got Victory 2. The field guns backing up. They're going to need on the fire. There you go. Bombardment, high explosive rounds. Directly being flung out. And there you go. Conscripts taking a rifle grenade, losing most of the units. They find themselves torn apart and then dead. He's sat down the victory point there. Target tank hits it down to less than half health. Not good there for Frost. Need to be careful. Control. O'Connor is still wiped out. Speaking of blood there to Frost, it's time for an infantry. Hey, Panther Corps, he can soon go for the Panther, but right now Frost made a few mistakes there. He's also shot an assault infantry, which, you know, tends to be one of your best methods of dealing with the field guns. And he's got artillery field as a press. He's down 31, or at least I've got 31 kills, but needs to get out there, smoking down. Has 2 running pioneers as well. They're 20 kills. Mercenary 2, Tiger Tank with 13 kills. He's not far off on the Panther. Meanwhile, GAT is, I'm still not totally sure what he's doing with his resources. Oh, there you go. Mechanized Armor Company finally happening. Can soon go for the T-45. Frost situation is rapidly deteriorating in the face of GAT's armored onslaught. The IS-2 proving to be quite formidable there, obviously. And Frost's response to it, well, seemingly not quite as impressive. After the diversion, just diverting the Soviets away from the front line before retreating. Target tanks being fixed up there. Pioneers hard at work.
Light howitzer is ready for another salvo.
Field guns rolling back. IS-2 rolling back. IS-2 has the MG-42. So yeah, GAT has managed a staggering comeback here on the back of the IS-2 and Frost's slightly lackluster response to it. The loss of the infantry, I think, are very crucial elements, and that means again he's got less to support the Tiger Tank, less to really defend and fight for territory, whereas again GAT's got plenty of infantry right now. So Frost's situation is pretty sticky. He's likely to go for the Panther. I mean, that would certainly help us the IS-2. And with its machine guns, he can fight as an infantry. That's obviously not going to be as many as the Tiger Tank, but you know it's going to be reasonably solid. The Tiger Tank shoots and misses, roughing over against the conscripts. They dodge it. Nice work there by GAT. Fuel upon the west being cut off. I think what Frost needs is not go out straight after the IS-2, to sort of try and outmaneuver and sort of try and bait the IS-2 into engaging and sort of fight better. But right now, it's basically fighting more on GAT's terms, which is not what he wants to be doing, because GAT's terms means IS-2 backed up by several field guns and a lot of other stuff, and that's not great for the Tiger Tank. Ground western point with the conscripts. Field guns moving out. T-35 on the way for GAT. Frost is getting the Panther. The Panzer Kampfwagen 5. Tiger Tank is close to 22, but the IS-2 is slowly climbing towards 23 now. Back here, troops are reinforcing. He needs to make a western push. IS-2 moving ahead here. Tiger Tank in dire repairs. Back here, troops in reinforcing. 34 kills. Panther almost down there for Frost and the 24th Panzer Division. Tiger Tank there slowly good to go again. Very slowly. Machine gun field officer moving in. Puncher there, 13 kills, and there you go, routed. As obviously stand no chance against the field officer up close, particularly with the Panzerix is the way they've done. Panther ramming here for Frost and Fatherland. Got the T-35 moving into counter tank. Needs to get the Panther and the Tiger Tank down there to assist. Schnell. Panther setting out. Tiger Tank moving out there as well. T-35 going straight for the officer there. We got 142 and 8. We got smoking called on as well by Frost again. Very good. IS-2 good to go as well here. Need to move the officer a bit there, else he's gonna know where it is and just attack round around it. There you go, Panther moving in. Great hit here by the field guns, as he's already bring up there. He kind of knows what's going to happen next. Basically, in this regard, Frost should have predicted this, probably taken a slightly different path that have maybe avoided some of the field guns' likely positions. Tiger Tank charging in there for IS-2 moving up. Tiger Tank is all the way close to the conscript, could hit with an anti-tank grenade. Artillery support going for the officer can't got wiped out, and in fact the officer got wiped out. Panther down as well. Things are rapidly deteriorating for Frost and the German army. Artillery fire, they just completely missing the field guns. Tiger Tank down to roughly half health. Incendiary and spewing away at the mission T-35, but obviously doing nothing. IS-2 that half to 23. Tiger Tank not quite there. Tiger Tank taking further damage here from GAT's armored assault. Pack falling away for Frost, but that's going to be too little too late here. Pioneers charging in the hopes they can somehow distract the IS-2 there, but GAT's basically locked in on the Tiger Tank with the Tiger Tank gone, so Frost's chances of winning this. So there you go. GG, game over. A nasty fight there between Frost and GAT. Frost, I think, had sort of the early mid game, but sort of struggled a bit. Mid game more. I think the early game was more GAT. Mid game, sort of Frost came back. Late game, Frost, I feel like, made a few mistakes. Sort of cost him there. I think he should commit to more armor after the tag tank rather than trying to go for tier 4 rather late. I think that was one of Frost's issues. Also, more mines would have helped him. You know, some more Pentagon at least just to help him mob up infantry and support weapons. And of course, just something more focusing with field guns because, again, like I mentioned in my video, like double anti-tank guns, I think, is a bit too overall inefficient, like a tactic that I feel like needs to be toned down. But even then, like the way Frost handled it, I think, you know, just made it even more potent because, you know, he just kept walking into them. They didn't really try to counter it in any way, so it made it much easier for GAT just to lock down what Frost was doing. Alongside just good use of the others too. But so there's some really good play by Frost with the Zoff and all that other stuff. But there were some issues there that sort of, I think, compounded some of the other issues and just allowed GAT to turn the game around and win the game. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell your friends, tell your family. And of course, do subscribe. Remember to press the bell check to get notified because YouTube being YouTube means YouTube is YouTube. So, you know, if you like what I do, you can also donate, pledge on Patreon. The link's in the video description. There's some pro links and cheers. And Basil's, you know, saying hi to you as well. He's a good cat. So, bye everyone, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.